What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat. You will forgive me for a moment as I choke down these berries so that we don't starve to death in between episodes. My name is Splattercat, and we are here playing Forsaken Isle with episode number 2. And so I think what we're going to do today is we're going to... I think we've got a couple of goals in front of us before this thing will have run its course. Today's adventure is going to be finding ourselves materials with which to craft all kinds of metals and things like that, at which point we will come back here to this location. Let me put down a permanent fire pit so that we can mark it as our home base. So there's that. I think we need like that, and then I think we need one of those, maybe. Am I missing something? I think I'm missing something here. That's what it was. Okay, so you need 5 logs and 5 rocks for the permanent. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the permanent fire pit. We've got ourselves a lot of wood at the moment. Giggity, there's your wood joke of the day. And so because we're carrying so much of it around with us, we really should seek a better line of employment. Now, we've got a bunch of logs. That's a really, really good thing, in fact, because typically in this game I find that I have a lot of trouble keeping myself stocked with the stuff. I'm going to drop a fire pit right there for now, and that's just going to mark our location. What we need to do in order to get ourselves some ore or some stone is we need to go find one of those caves that I was pointing out in the previous episode along the way. I am, of course, going to... Is that flickering to, like, simulate the Nintendo effect, or is that actually going to despawn? I never realized that items could despawn in this game. The other thing is sometimes when a Nintendo was out of memory or something like that, that's why stuff used to flicker on the screen on a Nintendo all the time, is because it was out of visual memory or something like that. And that old effect always takes me back to the good old days when life was simpler, when we sat around the glow of a black and... That's right, my TV was black and white when I was a kid. We had a black and white TV and you could play Nintendo on it, and it was like 7 inches. Like, it was the smallest TV ever. It had a handle on top so that you could carry it around, but it was still like the size of a small, like, desktop. It was ridiculous. But anyways, we had a black and white television. I used to play Nintendo on it. And strangely enough, I still feel like black and white televisions have far more definition than old color televisions. Like, if you take an old black and white television from like 1985 and you put it next to a color television from 1985, I always feel like the black and white one has far more definition. I don't know if that's like a perceptional thing by me, or if I've stumbled upon some secret of the universe, but I always felt like the black and the white held the lines a lot better in between the different shades. But we need to go down to the cave, so we're going to right click on the cave. Here we are. Now, while in the cave, you are going to lose comfort because obviously caves are scary. They're places where bad things happen and where zombies try to come along and touch you in inopportune ways. And so while your comfort level is going down, a severe lack of pillows in every cave as well. One of those things that I've noticed. You see these little nodes, right? Actually, let's get some torches, because I never play around with torches, and I want to use torches in this playthrough because I never do that. I don't think they do despawn. I think it's just going to sit there and blink all day long. It's okay, pal. You sit there and you blink as much as you want. I love sitting around just blinking, existing, not contributing anything. That's one of the finest states of matter, I would say myself. Let's go ahead and make some torches here. I don't know, like 30 of them? That seems okay. And then in order to make these work, so this is one of those things that really, really confused me when I first started playing. I was like, why the hell can't I put the torch down? Well, it's because you got to take the torch to here, and you've got to convert your torches into lit torches. And so it's got like an extra step right there that most games don't have. I would probably recommend getting rid of that step. It makes sense from a realism standpoint, like you've got to light the fire object on another fire object. Like, I get what they're going for, but that one caused me some undue stress. I was like, so I have torches, and I would like to place them. However, they don't seem to... What the hell was that? I have no idea what that noise was. Was that you, pig? Pig, did you make a noise? Nope, just being a pig. Just hanging out, you know. Bouncing, being bulbous. All those things that we pigs do in this game's kind of adorable. I like the way the pigs look. I like the way they walk, too. It looks like it's rhythmic. They're like, oh, yeah. Like, oh, you're kidding me. Jackson 5 on the radio. Walk it out. Walk it out. If Jackson 5 is on the radio, I'm just saying, like, I don't typically listen to a whole lot of Motown or old pop or anything like that. But if Jackson 5 is on the radio... Holy shit, you best believe that I'm up in my car with the windows down, just like dancing, acting a fool. Just embarrassing everybody around me. So what we need is to place some of these torches. Let's put these down here. There we go. I'm just going to kind of map out the areas that I've been. You can also just sort of like hold. I think it's coming from, there we go. I have a window in the background. That's what the sound effect is coming from. There was a browser window open that I had forgotten to close, and so that's probably what's going wrong right there. Either way, it was slightly humorous. I'm going to drop some torches just around. You can stand next to these to get your comfort back. They also work perfectly fine as just little road flares, making sure that everything's illuminated in the way that it needs to be. But these are what we want right here. And so there we are. We'll get ourselves some copper ore. Yeah, lovely. That'll help us out in the future. And so I'm going to follow this through in a logical sense. In order to make the series last longer, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to make it so that I'm not allowed to move to the next tier until I have like the helmet from the previous tier and I make it all work. How's that sound? That'll force us to take a look at all the items while we play through the game. I'm going to put down some torches like over here. Put down like a torch right there. That's a sapphire right there. I don't really know what we use that for, but I assume it has a use in something, or at least it will have a future use. Let's murder ourselves this zombie over here. There we go. And then there's skeletal pirates down here, which are quite a bit worse than the normal zombies, so you want to get rid of them post-haste. I mean, if not post-haste, then at least haste. You can leave out the post if you want. I understand that getting stamps and licking envelopes and all that sort of stuff can be a little bit cumbersome, but you do want to get rid of them. This is a useful little item right here that we can use for alchemy later on. So I'm going to uproot that. It's a glow bulb. Well, also, it's going to take us a lot of durability to get this sapphire out of the ground, but I think it'll probably be worth it later. I don't think you can make, like, sapphire swords or anything of that nature. And you'll forgive me, the reason that I'm not moving is because I have a very, very severe deep ear itch right now. I'm human, just like anybody else. Sometimes when you're on camera, I know people, like, on camera like to pretend like they're not human, but you know what? I am not going to. Let's try my theory out for things that are south of you. Oh, yeah, it does. I mean, that's still a little bit closer and riskier than I'd like to admit, but I feel like from diagonals you get a lot better kill streaks off, or at least a lot better hit streaks. You get like a combo going on. But as I was saying, people like to pretend like they're not human when they're up on the mic. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm just gonna be like, you know what, hold up, I've got like a really, really itchy spot. It's right next to my nipple, and I'm just gonna go for it, and that's how it's gonna be. And I'm not gonna apologize. It's just like, it's gonna happen mid-episode, and we can either roll with it, or you can get stuck on it. If you get stuck on it, I apologize. I hope that it doesn't have anything to do with your own personal nature of stickiness. I hope that it's my stickiness inflicting upon you, because obviously I'm a weirdly sticky person, and so I would never wish that kind of malady on other people. Sometimes you're sticky, sometimes you're not. However, if I could have less people in the world be sticky versus more people in the world being sticky, I would say less people. It's because stickiness makes you all around. Don't you just feel unhappy when you're sticky? That's what I find, is that it's impossible to be happy whilst sticky. You're just like, oh my god, especially if it's your fingers, like the webbing and your fingers getting all stuck together. You remember when you were a little kid and you'd be playing around with like Elmer's glue or something? I mean, playing around is sort of code word for eating it. But when you were playing around with Elmer's glue, what we used to do is we would glue our hands together, and then we would pull, like, you would make like a film over your hands, and then we would peel the glue film off of our hands because it would have like your fingerprints on it, and little kids are into stuff like that. I've always thought that there would be some kind of toy you could design around that and make millions of dollars. So you know what, Nerd Castle? I donate it to you. Some kind of sticky film that little kids can put on their hands and on their feet or whatever, and then it comes out sort of like when a snake sheds its skin, because when I was a kid, maybe I was just weird, but I loved that stuff when I was a little kid. Let's continue our mining operation down here, and also just dispersing torches everywhere that we can. You want to pick up these roots because they are useful later on. We can turn those into fibers, I think. Yeah, you can turn roots into fibers, which makes them super useful for later on, because I am always out of cordage in this game. It's weird that in this playthrough I have so much, because usually I'm out. I'm going to make like 10 band-aids, and we're just going to keep those right there in case I need to heal myself, which obviously I do because my health isn't at max, and then we'll use the rest on cordage. There we are. So we're looking a little bit better right now. I think we're in a good spot to continue the game and move forward. The next thing we need to make, talking about items that need to get built in our base, we need to make ourselves a smelter so that we can go through, or I think they call it a forge in this game or something like that. So I think we need to make ourselves, oh my god, we're being chewed on. Oh, there's so many zombies here. Okay, that's unpleasant. Get away from me. Do the dance of stabbing. My dance of stabbing is not being so efficient right now. I'm trying. The dance of stabbing it's not a refined art, but it's one that I have been working on. So hopefully it's reached the point where it's at least a teachable level to where I can teach other people to do the dance of stabbing too. The same rule applies for the pickaxe. Don't swing it unnecessarily like when you're walking around like I am, because it will lose durability just sort of, even if you're not applying it to anything. I guess just swinging it around makes it unhappy, makes it feel like it's about time to clock out. So that's that. I don't remember where we came into this place, but I'm willing to bet it's probably over here. Aw, damn you. Alright, we can dig through these walls though, so it's not that big of a deal. and actually sooner rather than later, these walls are going to be the main source of our stone that we're going to need, because it's going to take us a lot of stone to get our base built. I think I'm going to make the floorboards out of wood. I haven't totally decided where I want things to be at yet, but we're almost out of pickaxes, so I don't think we're going to be able to finish off. Yeah, we're pretty much done right there. Our comfort's looking a little bit low. We also want to start planting our garden, so we're going to have to look around for a hoe in a little bit, which shouldn't be too difficult. We'll just jump out on the corner and start waving bills around or something, and eventually one will show up. Either that or the police, but you know what? That's a risk that I'm willing to take for you, Nerd Castle. Heading back to our base, we now have the materials that are required in order to make ourselves a forge, I think. I think the forge is like stones, and that, maybe? It might not be. There is the distinct possibility that I'm not doing this properly. Maybe it's, I think maybe I have to refine the stone first. Let's go to the masonry bench, and let's just make stone blocks. I mean, that's all we're really going to need for now anyways. We'll just make a bunch of stone blocks because random stone isn't going to be doing it for us anyways. So we've got the stone blocks. Let's go back over to here, and maybe that's what it was. There it is. So now we've got a forge. Let's take the forge. We'll drop it right there. It doesn't look like we have a ton, like a metric ass ton of ore right now. We do probably, well, I thought we had copper. Oh, there it is. We have 33 copper. So we have quite a bit of copper. I think we can make a face mask or something with what we have right now. Yeah, there it is, the wood mask. And so in true Splattercat fashion, we've been on the island for one episode. We've already got wood all over our face. There it is. And so it actually adds it to the character. That's once again one of those little things that I love about this game, is you actually get graphical changes when you equip things. Were they to neglect that in the design of the game, I think I would like the game a lot less. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but I love it when you get little attachments and things you can add onto your character that change aesthetically how he looks or how she looks. That's the other thing, is maybe they can add like a male and a female pirate, you know, so that the female gamers, I mean, I don't know, some people like to play female characters, some people like to play dude characters. I don't care either way. I sort of just alternate. In general, I usually play dude characters, but I don't know if that's like wish fulfillment or what it is. I'm not really sure. I'm sure a psychiatrist would have all kinds of things to say about it. The other thing we need to do, oh, we need to place the forge. Oh, we already did. There it is, God. So now what we want to do is we'll take this coal, we'll take this copper, and we'll go ahead and put it right there. And then the final thing that we need to do is we need to take the iron and we need to combine that into something equitable. And so the next thing we need to do for the iron, we need to make an anvil. And I think we do that right here with a hammer. Yeah, I'm surprised that I remember that. I almost never remember crafting recipes, but I remembered it. So we got a hammer and we've got the ingots of iron, which will allow us to put down our blacksmithing anvil, which I'll throw down right there. And from that point forward, we can sit down and we can make actual blades. If you look right here, we can make real blades for our tools to make our lives a little bit easier. And so we're probably going to make ourselves some more refined tools. We'll go back down, we'll mine out a little bit more to get all the materials we need so that I can show off the building system. And I'm actually a little bit worried right now. We may not even get 3 or 4 episodes out of this one because we're already rapidly sort of running out of things to craft. I'm going to try and show you everything in the game, whether it's the alchemy system or anything else, but it's going to be slow going. It's going to be slow going, so bear with me for a little while. We're going to go with a, let's see here. I need to cook up some food. So we'll make some chicken. I love chicken. Chicken is one of those things that never grows old for me. I mean, it grows old in my fridge all the time, as is evidenced by the green stuff growing on it. But what I mean is that I never tire of chicken. Chicken is the greatest. Baked chicken, fried chicken, you know, seared chicken. Doesn't matter. Anything. Just make me chicken. Chicken, 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 chicken. The shells, I'm not really positive what we use those for. Never used a shell in anything so far, so my assumption is that maybe it's not quite as useful as one would think. I would also like to, let's go ahead and we'll use the pole turner to make ourselves some refined sticks. There we go. And so we've refined the sticks. I'm also thinking that I'll probably make myself, no, I'll make a copper spear. We're not going to go to a sword for right now. We'll make an iron sword once we get there, but we're going to wait for now. And since we've got that, I don't know if there is a copper helmet in the game just yet. I know there's an iron helmet that you can make, and there it is. I guess there's probably not a copper helmet. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything like that. So what I will instead do is we will make a, well, we need pickaxes for now. So let's make 2 of those little bastards right there. We will make a, it doesn't look like there's a, oh yeah, there's no copper spearhead either, so we may be stuck. Okay, well let's make a copper blade then and we'll swap out. So we've got the copper blade. What we need to do now is we take that, and then I think we need twine as well. Oh, that makes a tanning rack. That's weird. Maybe we have to do this at a workbench. Let's try at the workbench. I bet it's the workbench that makes this work. I mean, it is called a workbench, obviously. It probably motivates some kind of workmanship. And where did my hilt go? Hilt? Did I make a hilt? Oh my god. The system has failed. It's all falling apart. It's all broken. Everything is gone. It's all for naught. Sometimes when I was in the Boy Scouts, I felt like everything was all for naught. But that was a different type of naught. Those were different days. Those were different. No, I wasn't a Boy Scout. I'm lying. I was like this weird fundamentalist Christian version of a... I forget what it was called. It was like a fundamentalist Christian version of the Boy Scouts. My family was super religious growing up. I don't know if you knew that. My old man is a preacher, still to this day. They're like a southern, you know, like those southern churches where people wear like fancy hats and it's like 1,000,000 degrees. It was like that. It was exactly like that. That's the way that I would describe it. You go into the building and it was like 60 degrees outside, but the second you went inside, it was like 97 degrees and everybody was sweating and wearing like their nicest stuff. And then all of the old ladies had like the fanciest hats on earth, like the most fancy hats ever. I think some of these ladies put more like thought into their hat than they put into their entire outfit combined, because their hats would have like beads and like chains and all kinds of like gold stuff dangling off them. Essentially, it just got kind of wild up in there. Anyway, I think I'm losing the plot right now. I forgot what I was working on. I'm working on something here. Oh, it was that you have to do it at the pole turnery. That's what it is. Okay, so we'll do it at the pole turner. There we go. Now we've got a sword hilt. Maybe I backed off of making the sword hilt after I realized it was going to cost me something. Let's affix this thing here. There it is. And so now we've got a copper sword, which 2 to 4, attack speed 4, 5 to 9. Oh, it is better. Okay, so we'll equip ourselves with a copper sword. And now you can take a look at that. It's got kind of like a machete looking look to it. Definitely like a machete. If this dude came out of the forest at me, he's got like a face mask on and a big butcher knife, I'd be incredibly concerned that I was in an 80s slasher flick. And that is never a good place to be. Let's also endeavor to cook up the remainder of our food, because we haven't done that in a little while. And I don't know why I just put it up there. Awesome. We got 18 berries. Good, good, good. I should probably eat some of this seaweed. I don't actually think you can cook the seaweed. You may be able to. I could be wrong. And then we'll make some more carrot seeds so that once we start sitting down to make our plantation type area, we'll be in good shape. And then finally, because we've got so much food right now, I think I'll also convert these pineapple crowns. These pineapple crowns, a great, great investment, because you can place those like anywhere where you've tilled the soil, and once you've done that, they just sit and they regrow over and over and over again, and it's awesome. Like every time you come back to your base, there's more food waiting for you, and what more could you ask for? Let's go ahead and get ourselves fed one more time. I think once they put the water system into the game too, I'm really interested to see how the thirst system is going to work as you play through the game. Can I do... Maybe I need that as well. Okay, so we'll go with 2 of those, because what we're going to be doing is mostly pickaxing away once we go down a little lower. There's also a tanning rack, 5 refined sticks, and a cord. Sure, because I've never made a tanning rack, we'll go ahead and make that, because why not? We've got hides. And what happens if we put a hide on here? You just get leather out, and then what happens if you put leather? I'm not even sure you can make anything with leather yet, can you? A leather mask? That's a little bit ball gaggish, but okay. It was worth a look. I mean, don't judge me. I was like, ooh, we can make ourselves a gimp mask. Ooh, this game just got more interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and the berries do regrow on the trees, by the way. So if you can set your base up in a location, this sword feels a lot slower. Ooh, we just one-shot a chicken with it though. I was about to talk shit about the sword, and then it was like, no, we're not doing that today. Crit! Bask in the eminence of my slaughter. The high-quality nature of my killings. I'm like, alright, you've got a point there. Let's go back to our cave. It's also got a nice little knockback effect right there. That might be helpful for the future if we get run up on by a bunch of zombies too. And so I think I'm going to focus on this area for now. We'll drop this over here. And you can see we're digging much, much quicker than we were previously. I'm going to try and just get all the nodes for right now, because I don't feel like... Oh, we're leaving stuff on the ground, damn it. Okay. 8 damage right there. You gotta do kind of like a little... I mean, you can just stand there and swing and they'll probably walk into it. I think we're out of inventory space. So the time may have come where we need to focus on storage devices. It's not my favorite thing to talk about. It is the dirty secret of survival games, but eventually you're going to end up storing all kinds of stuff all over the place, and this is that time. To make yourself some storage devices, what you need to do is first convert all of your logs into planks, and then from there, if you combine a plank or a group of planks with an iron ingot, I think you can get a chest out, which I think I was trying not to do. Let's go ahead and we'll get started right there, and instead of making our storage device, we'll get going with building our base. So there's going to be all the flooring right there. We just made ourselves a ton of wood floors. I don't know where all these berries keep coming from. It's because I keep looting them while I'm running around. There we are. So we'll take a couple more of those. We'll throw those on top of the pile. We've got... I'm going to eat some of this seaweed, in fact, as we continue playing. The eggs, a lot of this stuff is not going to be instantly useful or gratifying to us. This is all... Some of this stuff is later game stuff, like a lot of the alchemical reagents and things. So I think what I'll do for now... We've got a couple minutes left in the episode. I'm just kind of quantifying in my head what I have and what I don't have. Make a couple more of those to clear up the inventory space. And what I'd like to do now is let's get rid of the flint spear because we're not going to be needing it anymore anyways. We've already upgraded our weapon, and so that's not going to be of any benefit to us in the future. We're not going to break our weapon. We're not going to need a backup. You can convert these into skulls. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. You can also make those into bone clubs if you wanted to in the early game, but I haven't ever made a bone club. I usually just kind of leapfrog from one tech tree to the next. And before I continue talking too much, let's figure out I needed to do something here. Something was what I was working on. Oh, yes, we were laying down the flooring. Okay. So let's lay down some flooring here. There we go. That's looking nice. I think I'm actually going to make it a 5x5, though. And we're going to have to move this, unfortunately. Oh, we only get ashes back. That sucks. So we're going to have to make ourselves a new fire pit. It's okay. We'll deal with it. And then instead what I'd like to do is we'll go like so. Let's be a little bit artistic with this thing. How about that? We'll be a little bit artistic with it. It's not super artistic, but it's something. Can I break these down without bad things happening? Okay, good. And then on this side, we'll go like that. We'll just get a little bit more creative with some of the corners and things. And so now what I would prefer to do we have extra inventory space? We do, indeedly doodly. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to take some of this copper. We're going to make ourselves a couple of axe heads. I think is going to work out. We'll make a couple of shovel heads as well. And I think there's a word for shovel-shaped. Listric, I think is the word? No. It might be listric. But there's a specific word that means shovel-shaped. You use it when describing the shape of sharks' heads. I remember that from biology, and also it's a term that we use in geology for something. I think it's listric. It might be listric. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. Never take any... I'm just going to bin some of this stuff that I don't know what it does, and we'll use it later. Alright, so now that we're back where we need to be, we converted all of that over. So in the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to do some tree chopping. The tree chopping is going to make us chests. From there, we're going to store up all of our stuff. Then we're going to bail back down into the underground. We're going to find ourselves all of that ore that we wanted to talk about previously. And then from there, we will go ahead and continue forward with our adventures. Take care out there, everybody. My name is Splattercat. The game is Forsaken Isle. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. If you want to support the game, look down below for the green light link so that you can vote for it to be featured on Steam. Or B, you can buy the game directly from the developer's website. I think it's like $2.99. It's insanely affordable. Like, the developer seems like he's an all-around cool cat. So go check the game out. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.